Okay, it's time. So let's get started. So good evening, everyone to this webinar. My name is Godsu Moka. Okay, you can call me Forex Evangelist, and you're welcome to this webinar today. Uh, uh, this webinar is organized, hosted by Godo Capital Markets Nigeria and Godo Capital Markets Africa. Okay, so we're going to get started, and you know how we do this. If you have been following our webinar for some weeks now, you will notice how we take our webinar. We first of all look at data, fundamentals, talk about macro, discuss geopolitics, and then with that we can be able to have our watch list. The currency pairs anticipating for the new week, and to what direction. So if you've been following, if you followed through the last webinar, you would see that almost every pair, we discussed or we talked about, went to the peak. At least up to 7 or 8 out of 9 went to that direction. So if you are following it, so it means that it's a good one for you, okay? Because here we try to look at the market together and help traders stay on the right side of the market, okay? So first we look at economic calendar. So we go to our website here at godocm.com. So here you go to research, all right? You go to economic calendar. So because we need to look at what economic data we're expecting, all right? So we look at if maybe is there any economic event that is coming by? So we'll have a glance of it, okay? So next week, good. So on the 16th of February, okay, we are looking for high impact events that could, cause some kind of volatility, all right, in some of these pairs. So we are trying to see if there is any. Okay, Tuesday, we have our RBA meeting minutes from Australia, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, and we also have unemployment rate coming from the United Kingdom. So we also want to keep an eye on Tuesday by 8 a.m. Nigerian time. So, and we also have our CPI data from Canada, an important data from Canada. So it's important. I think we have one Canadian pair, on our watch list today. So it's also good to keep an eye on it. So as we move on, so to Wednesday, we have an interest rate decision coming from the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. Okay, so this is going to have an effect on the New Zealand dollar. So it's good to keep an eye on that, and that is going to be coming up on by 2 a.m. on Wednesday Nigerian time. So that is midnight during the Asian session. And move on to okay. Then we'll head over to Thursday, and we have unemployment rate from Australia. So very key and important data, unemployment data from Australia. So it's good to keep an eye on that on Thursday. That is by what time? That's by 1:30 a.m. Nigerian time during midnight, the Asian session as well. So we keep on moving. And okay. So on Friday, okay, we're also going to be having the European Central Bank President, Christine Lagarde, is also going to be speaking. So her speech is also, an important one to keep an eye on. She can give some sort of forward guidance, about, the Euro economy and possibly monetary policy. So it's one to also keep an eye on, to watch out for her statements. So, and okay, good. We also have core PCE on Friday by 2:30 p.m. Nigerian time. Core PCE, personal consumption expenditure, is an important inflation data. It is the most preserved inflation data for the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve preferred the core PCE over the CPI, core CPI. CPI is still important. Investors are always looking at it, all right? But the Federal Reserve prefers the personal consumption expenditure. So it's always good to have an eye on it. So that's why you can see the red folder here on it, because the high impact data. Okay, and that is all for the coming week on our economic calendar. So you can always come through our website, to use our economic calendar. Once you click on our website, let me show you the process again. Once you click on our website, you go to research. You go to research, and then from there you click on economic calendar, and you find the economic calendar. So you click on it, and then you find it. So, and that is for that. So let's move ahead to what we have for this week. First of all, looking at the currency scorecard based on fundamental data, which currencies are strong and which currencies are weak. Then all we need to do is to pair them, look at sentiment, all right, with what big banks and institutions are doing based on the commitment of traders, to see which currencies are institutions buying into the new week or which ones they are selling into the new week. That's it kind of aligns with what we have with our macroeconomic analysis, so that we're not just reading based on our own insight and analysis, but also to be sure that we are in line with what the big players are doing. Okay, because these guys have the upper hand. They have the money to move the market. So when you do your fundamental analysis, which is what all of them are also looking at, you also want to look verifiable data in terms of their positions. Okay, are they buying into that bias, or are they selling to that particular bias, regardless of the direction we are looking out for? Okay, so that takes us directly into my Excel sheet here. So now, when you look at the currency scorecard, dollar has moved up a bit. Dollar was the weakest currency as of last week, but now we have NZD taking that position. All right, but regardless, dollar is still very much weak. And with the recent, downward data we got on CPI on Friday, from 2.7% previous to 2.4, which was beating expectation of 2.5. We expect the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates. And for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates, it simply means weakness for the currency. Okay? So please, Benjamin, please, you can mute yourself, okay? Yeah, good. So now the way I do this, I've explained, is I pair the first three currencies, that means I'm bullish for the first three currencies and I'm bearish for the last three currencies. So all I do is I first of all pair the first one against the last three, the second one against the last three, and the third one against the last three. So that is basically, what I do. So we're going to be starting with the first one, which is the strongest against the weakest. So this is going to be my most preferred, all right? That is NZD Swiss. So we are now going to look at sentiments, all right? Are we having institutions selling into the new week? What is happening in terms of sentiments? So our macroeconomic analysis is telling us. Please, I will. Okay, good. Thank you for muting yourself. Okay, so now we pair the Swiss franc against the New Zealand dollar. Okay, so we head over to sentiments and let's try to see what is happening in terms of sentiments. All right, because it's really important. We are also going to be talking about geopolitics, how the geopolitical events, or the major one is the Middle East tension. That is what the market is actually focusing on when it comes to the geopolitical tension. So that's what we are also going to be discussing again today. We did discuss that last week. I'm also going to be discussing it again this week in terms of recent developments. Okay. So for NZD Swiss, last week, the sentiment was showing positive 23.92 something. Okay, which shows that institutions as of last week, the last COT data was bullish for NZD CHF, but coming into the new week, it is now at positive 1.85, showing us that there is a decline, okay, in terms of institutional positions. So, and if we go on to the chart, so we now have a look at the NZD Swiss. So NZD Swiss. So if we look at it, so we can see as well that we are having some sort of a downward move. All right. So what are we expecting on NZD Swiss? So let me go to 1 hour. For NZD Swiss, I'm anticipating more push to the downside. And what exactly am I looking at for to the downside? So for NZD Swiss, if we have this move here, okay, so any corrective structure, something similar to this nature, or maybe we can get a push, all right, taking away this high or even around this level, any pullback, either completing, if it's going to be a three-wave structure like this, or a small corrective structure, I'm going to be looking for continuation to the downside. So any move, regardless, all right, if it's a small pullback, either from this level or above this high. So you should have your system in place. I'm speaking based on my system. I'm not trying to do a guesswork here. I actually understand what I'm trying to say here based on, the technical level, either, with my volume profile, and also I'm going to be seeing, be getting convinced with, my other flow footprint charts as well, to actually get that level. So that's what I'm communicating. All you just need to understand is that any move to the upside, to complete the corrective structure here, we are going to be anticipating price to continue falling. That is for NZD Swiss, okay? So we move on to the next one, Swiss, which is against the US dollar. You can look how I'm looking at it. The first one, or the strongest currency against the most weakest currency on my scorecard here, against the second most weakest currency. That's how I'm looking at it. So for USD Swiss, let's also try to look at the commitment of traders. What is happening? So for USD Swiss, we can see USD Swiss was positive 15 as of last week, and coming into the new week, we can see it as positive 4, which means that institutions are selling into the new week. And we also called USD Swiss to the downside as of last week. So if you guys can remember, as of last week it was 31. Now you can see a decline into 15, which means they are selling into the new week. And if you go to USD Swiss, so you could see. So if you took a USD Swiss to the downside last week, please can you let me know in the chat box. So USD Swiss was around here as of last week. This was where USD Swiss was last. So you can see the downward move on USD Swiss, and that is what we are expecting again. Another push to the downside for USD Swiss. So for USD Swiss, what we anticipate is any corrective structure, an opportunity for us to look for further push to the downside on USD Swiss. A lot of liquidity is under this low and including this low. So breaking this low or not, that is not the case, but I'm anticipating price to at least pushing down, taking away this low. Possibly it can also take away this low, okay? So all we just need to look at for is just a push the downside on USD Swiss, okay? So the next one we have here is Swiss and then CAD Swiss, okay? And if we look at sentiments again, so CAD Swiss, you can see from 52 into the last week was 20, and we called out that we're expecting a downside on CAD Swiss, and that happened as well. And we are also expecting more push to the downside this week or into the next week on CAD Swiss. So I also called CAD Swiss. If you look at, if you go back to our recording on YouTube at Go to Africa, you will see the focus, right there. So you could see CAD Swiss is CAD Swiss push to the downside. Okay, you can see, all the move from here. Sunday, you can see what CAD Swiss have been doing. So for that, we are also anticipating a move to the downside. So any corrective structure, one more drop to the downside for CAD Swiss. So CAD Swiss, expect more drop, but that drop is most likely going to be short-lived. The drop, we will see it take away this low. We will not see it take away this low. Market seems to be trying to give us something similar to what happened here, okay, which I also discussed as of last week. So that is what the market could be wanting to give us. Maybe after that, an up move, for this up, either from this level or even if it's under this low, price could give us something like a running flats as well, just the way it did here, and then we could see further continuation towards the downside on card switch. So for card switch, look for your sell setups for card switch. That is the macro direction. So now the next one, we have exhausted squeeze against the big currency. So we look at AUD NZD. That is the next currency pair we have on our watch list. So let's look at that in terms of the sentiment. What are institutions doing? So for AUD NZD, you can see AUD NZD last week was -9. Okay, and coming into the new week, you can see AUD NZD at pretty 12.9, approximately 13. Okay, so if you look at that, AUD NZD. So let's open that to see what AUD NZD is doing. So you can see, the overall direction for weeks now has been headed to the upside. That is, the effect of understanding fundamentals and macroeconomic analysis, all right? Having the real edge. So, and what are we anticipating in terms of structure? I know what everybody is more concerned is structure. What is going to happen on the chart? But the real analysis is done outside the chart. I've always been saying this, as a professional trader. When you hear that professionals do 80% fundamentals, that is exactly what I'm showing you here. So the chart is just basically for timing. So what happened here is a contracting flat. So what we are anticipating is any corrective structure similar to this, one more drop, and then we'll begin to look for buy setups on AUD NZD. So for AUD NZD, I'm looking for buy setups on AUD NZD. Okay. So the next one I have on my watch list is AUD USD. So you also look at sentiment and look out for what is happening on AUD USD. AUD USD as of last week was -1. Okay. But now this week is favoring both macro and the sentiment is now +10. So that means we are bullish on AUD USD this week. Okay. Similar scenario with AUD NZD. Okay, so for AUD USD, here we've got an impulse, a small correction, impulse, pressure. So any push to the downside, probably taking away this low, we'll begin to look for buying opportunities again on AUD USD. Okay, that is for AUD USD. So the next one we have here is AUD CAD, Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. Okay, so if you look at that here, AUD CAD as of last week is -5.7, and coming to the new week is -2, meaning there is a decline, in the bearishness of what we can see here from -5 to -2. That means there's an improvement to the upside. All right, they are removing their positions gradually in terms of AUD CAD. So we are bullish on AUD CAD coming into the next week. So similar structure to what we have been seeing. So you can see the power of fundamentals, how price has been bullish, for a long time now. So for AUD CAD, we're expecting the same thing here. So this is a move to the downside. So any correction, downside. So probably market seems to be giving us or wants to rather give us something similar to what we have gotten here. Okay. So after this move is done, so we begin to look for buying opportunities to the upside. Okay. So altogether, this could be an impulse correction, impulse, sort of a WX, WXYXZ structure. So now we move on to the yen pairs. Now we pair the yen against New Zealand first. So the New Zealand yen, we ask ourselves, what are we expecting in terms of sentiment? What is happening? So for NZD yen, last week was +15. And coming into the new week, we are seeing it at -3. So meaning to the downside in favor of what? the yen pair, the quote currency. If it's in positive, not really is in positive. If we are seeing price a kind of reducing, it means it's in favor of the quote currency in terms of the sentiment, what institutions are doing. But if we see the sentiment in terms of the number increasing, whether negative or positive, like we're seeing kind of improvement in the number, either positively or negatively, that is what we are actually trying to look at. For example, you can see something that, let's say you expected to buy, okay, and you see something that, for example, the AUD card, -5, -2. Now, this is simply telling you that there is an improvement to the upside, okay? Here we went from -12, -5, -2. So it's telling you that we are gradually coming out of that negative territory. Please, Benjamin, can you mute yourself, please?
I was supposed to take this around 2 o'clock.
Hello, Benjamin. Can you mute yourself, please?
Can you mute him from your end? Can you mute him from your end?
I can't. I'm looking at where I can do that.
All right, carry on.
I don't know if Mr. Intelligence is on the call. Maybe he can do it from his side.
Okay. Talk on that or tell that boy, that boy in this side that
Okay, so let's continue. For NZD JPY, so we have discussed that. So we are looking for a push to the downside from positive 15 now. We are at -3. Okay, so we are anticipating the move to the downside for NZD JPY. So let's look at NZD JPY to see what we are anticipating there. So you can see price is already pushing to the downside. So for NZD JPY here, what we anticipate on NZD JPY, yeah, price has given us sort of a pullback. So if this is going to give us a sort of a correction structure here, we'll continue pushing to the downside. Okay. So, or if this is going to pull down, just any pullback, then you look for continuation to the downside for NZD JPY. So NZD JPY is bearish going into the new week. Okay. So the next one we have is NZD and JPY and USD. So meaning that is USD JPY. So if we look at also the commitment of traders, what are institutions doing going into the new week? You will see that USD JPY from +7 is now into the negative, is now declining in terms of the sentiment. So that is telling us it's favoring JPY, which is also favoring our fundamental bias. And as of last week, we also see that I called USD JPY. That's one of the trades I called last week, if you guys can remember. That was the market was around this level. I told you guys, any little up. If you go, try and go and watch that recording last week where I talked about it. Any little up, any little move to the upside. I think I have let me see if I can see. Okay, good. So you can see the analysis here on YouTube here. So that little pull back and then they push to that. So you can see, imagine you cut this big move on USD JPY, and that's exactly what has happened there. So if you see, when they tell you nobody can forecast the markets, professionals can actually forecast the markets. It's all about you being guided by data. Guided by data, understand how institutions are doing it. Fundamental, very important. What are institutions doing, and then what you can come in technically in terms of your timing. So you can see it's not magic. So, and this is not in terms of logic. This is guided by data. Okay, to understand the higher probability move of where price would be headed to. Okay, so in terms of USD JPY, what are we expecting next on USD JPY? So for USD JPY, I'm still favoring a push to the downside. This here seems to be an impulse, so down. So if it's a correction down, so we could get an up move, maybe taking away these highs here, and then I could be looking for, or I'll be looking for a push to the downside, taking away this low and potentially this low here, this one here, okay? So for USD JPY, I'm looking for sell setups, and that is one of the pairs that are, highly on my watch list going into the new week. So now the last one should have been CAD yen, but for CAD yen, why I'm going to be dropping CAD yen and it's not on my watch list is because of the sentiment is not actually much in favor of it. But you can actually put it in your watch list. It could sell, all right. This is just me trying to follow my rules, completely. All right. So the fundamental bias overrides everything, but sentiment sometimes can show you profit taking. We can cause sort of pullback. It helps you to understand what is going to happen into the new week. So for CAD yen, here we can see it went from positive 11 to positive 12. Okay, went from positive 11 to positive 12. So that is telling me that it's not a good one to the downside in terms of sentiment, not in terms of fundamentals. But let me type CAD yen.
You can't assure you security. You are very busy, as you can see, right? So nothing has ever been told here, but we cannot assure you security of your phone.
So
Hello, Benjamin. Benjamin, please, can you mute yourself? Please.
Hello, Benjamin.
This iron, I don't see from here.
Hello, Benjamin. Benjamin, are you with us?
And that's why it's not like
okay, let's just try and manage and continue. So CAD JPY, okay. So for CAD JPY is almost done with what we are anticipating to do technically, but we could see more with CAD JPY, all right. So for CAD JPY, maybe any corrective structure to the upside, all right, we could anticipate price to fall more, okay, or we may see push down, small pullback, and then price will continue pushing to the downside. So for CAD JPY, we anticipate more move to the downside on CAD yen, but like I said, it's not on my watch list because of sentiment. What we are seeing in terms of sentiment, with what big banks and institutions are doing. So it's not actually on my watch list. So that's why you can see on my watch list here, I stopped at dollar yen. So we have a whole lot of currencies to take advantage of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about 8 currency pairs. That is more than enough, to select from and look for tradable opportunities. Okay. So that is for that. Then we have discussed about we have looked at the economic calendar, from the Kodo website. We have also looked at fundamental and macro. Okay. We have looked at sentimental analysis. So you could see that we are actually utilizing every form of analysis in the forex market, whether technical, fundamental, looking at the economic calendar, and also now we are going to be discussing geopolitics, because geopolitics has a way, all right, of also influencing, the financial markets. And on top of the story, what the market is actually focusing on more now that can affect every financial asset is, the uprising in the Middle East, between US and Iran, and Israel as well. Okay, well, US and Iran had some kind of a discussion in Muscat, Oman, the last time, which didn't yield any positive talks, and the US is increasing more pressure in terms of sanctions and all of that. And if there is no okay, somebody saying I should mute everyone. I'm not the one that can mute. Dr. Luke, please, if you can find if you can reach Mr. Intelligent, he's the one that can do that. I
Yeah,
can't
and
do
I
that
try
from my
reaching.
end.
Yeah, I try reaching. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I can't do that from my end. And I don't know
It's okay.
why Benjamin left his mic on, and this is definitely going to affect the recording on YouTube. I don't know why. Please, we have to be serious. If we come here, this is a serious business. We have to be serious. This is why some of us as traders, we are still struggling in the financial market. Look at the quality of information being given here, but we are not being serious about it. Some of the places many traders pay hundreds of dollars, thousands of naira, don't have access to this kind of information. They relatively know nothing. But look at the quality of information, that everybody here is getting for free. So when we come here, we have to take it very serious. Okay? Please, this is something we are doing from our time because we value our clients and value the growth of traders. We are trying to build like-minded individuals here. So when we come here, we have to be serious. It's not something this is something that benefits everybody. All right. When you use this information and knowledge being given to you, you make money for yourself. You don't give me. You make money for yourself. So we have to be serious. So Dr. Luke, please, you need to after this call try to reach Benjamin so that this doesn't repeat the next time, please. Okay. So I was talking about geopolitics, and this is something we are discussing on our last webinar. US is continuing to build military presence around the Middle East. Previously, Donald Trump have sent the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, and now he's sending the second aircraft carrier. I think W. Bush carrier is sending now to the Middle East, and he instructed them to change their direction from the Caribbean. That was the ship, the largest ship in the world, that was among the ship that was used in the Venezuelan operation in the capturing of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela, now headed to the Middle East. That is just shortly after his press conference with the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. And on my status, I shared something. I want to bring on something now in terms of geopolitics. If you're a good geopolitical analyst, sometimes the information are not communicated through words. Let me try to get let me make a Google search. From Yahoo meeting. I just want to get that picture. Let me get images. I just want to show you guys something, okay? This was I want to get short good. This was their recent meeting. This was their recent meeting. I'm trying to get the picture of their recent meeting, okay? So this was their recent meeting. So either just these ones they are both on red tags. Is their recent meeting. Now I want to teach you guys something on geopolitics, how you can be able to decode a whole lot of information. Okay. Now during the press conference, Trump is still saying diplomacy. Iran has to agree, and there's telling the regime in Iran, not just in terms of stopping their ambition in terms of having a nuclear weapon, but telling them to reduce the range of their ballistic missile to about 3,000 kilometers down to 300 kilometers. Is trying to telling the regime not to resist. If you follow how the regime there is functioning and everything, you need to understand how regime functions in different parts of the country. But I don't think that is going to work, in terms of the demands US and Israel are making for Iran to sign the agreement. I don't think that's going to happen. Anything can happen. But with the recent picture, I saw while I was watching them speak. Immediately after that, Trump, the Pentagon ordered the second carrier, which is the largest warship in the world. I think W. Bush, to move, and join the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Middle East. Now, what am I trying to say in a nutshell? If you look at these two guys here, now, this is something even in monetary policy, when you see central bank governors and president coming to speak, sometimes they communicate that information in dress codes. You may not hear them speak. Now, after speaking more of diplomacy, they are ordering a warship. Look at their dressing. This is a red tie. Some people may think this is just a coincidence or just nothing. They are trying to communicate something to you. Okay? Telling you they have indicated maybe kind of their red lines. Iran shouldn't cross these red lines or expect something bloody. Just that kind of a thing. So people who understand geopolitics understand what is gradually, coming a bit. So maybe it means, and we had a report that they had a secret meeting even before then. Maybe Netanyahu shared some intelligence with him about Iranian military activities or anything. I don't know. But what I can dictate from there as a geopolitical analyst as well is, the dress code. It communicates something. It's not a coincidence. This is something that, I feel. And immediately after that, I saw on the news that the Pentagon from Washington is sending the second aircraft carrier. Whoa, okay. It's definitely maybe going to take time, especially with what they are demanding, which everybody knows the Iranian regime is not going to agree to that. That means something is most likely going to happen, and that is war. And when that happens, how does it affect the financial market? Regardless of what we are discussing here, it could change the whole course of everything we have discussed here. That is why understanding of every form of analysis in the financial market is very crucial and important. And how is it going to affect that? If there is a war, this is going to cause uncertainty in the world, all right? Meaning money is going to flow out of risky assets. So meaning as we are looking at for, let's say, opportunities in AUD, that means AUD might weaken, all right? Because of flows moving out of what? Risky assets. Stocks are going to fall, okay? It is going to weaken, and then safe haven currencies are going to strengthen. Now, but in this case, safe haven currencies are Swiss franc, JPY, and the dollar. Regardless of the issue of some people saying dollar is losing its safe haven status because of the kind of threats on the independence of the Fed. But dollar still remains a safe haven currencies till any time, okay? But the best thing to do in this scenario is to look at for which of the safe haven currencies is the strongest. That's Swiss. So I'll be buying more of Swiss and yen compared to what? The dollar, in a case of uncertainty around the world. And with this happening again, also keep an eye, because we don't know when it's going to happen. If you look at the recent military operations with the United States, especially under Donald Trump, you understand that they like to maintain what we call the element of surprise. They would like to attack you, maybe at the dead of the night, when you're not aware that something of that nature is coming. You may be expecting it, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So they will take you by surprise. When you look at the case of Maduro, when you look at forgotten what they called before the 12-day war between Israel and Iran, Operation Moonlight Hammer or something. That's what they called it. He just came, with B-2, stealth bombers. They took out most of the Iranian, nuclear facilities in Isfahan, and other places where their nuclear centrifuge are located. They like took back, some of the progress they have made. So these are that case of element of surprise. So we don't know when this is going to happen, but with that happening, keep an eye on assets like crude oil. I've discussed in the last webinar that why is it going to affect crude oil? This is why you need to read. You need to update yourself about the markets. Why is it going to affect it? If you look at I'll keep on bringing up this thing for the fact this story is still, on the front pages and the market is paying attention to it. So you guys are, because the Middle East is a region, that is that attracts, global politics. All right, it is the center of global politics. So I don't know how I'm going to put it. The Middle East, coming out of uncertainty, pardon me, but is kind of more difficult for the fact there's a presence of Israel and Iran there, and the likes of Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Palestine. It's very difficult to have a kind of long-lasting peace in this region. Okay, it's very difficult, and I pray one day it happens. But the way it looks is like as if it's a Pope denouncing Catholicism. It's kind of difficult, but I believe one day, I pray, let there be peace in the world. There's going to be peace in that region. Okay, so why oil is of importance in this case is this. If you look at the Middle East and look at the Middle East has the largest member of OPEC countries. Okay, and more of oil producing countries. Iran alone has the largest gas fields in the world. Okay, they have good amount of oil reserves. So Iran produces oil, the UAE produces oil, Saudi Arabia, one of the largest exporters of oil. I think the largest. Iraq exports oil. Oman exports oil. Oman has oil. Even Israel in itself, maybe not for commercial purposes, it still imports, but still has little, oil. I think on the southern part of the country. So this is a country that is largely has a oil deposits. Okay, and now the place that is going to play a crucial role is, you see here, these small tiny choke points that connect the Persian Gulf and the deep Arabian Sea. Okay, which we call the Strait of Hormuz. So this is where about 20% of global oil passes every single day. Every single day. Let me try to increase so you could see. So you can see Strait of Hormuz. Okay, this is where 20% of global oil is like a choke point. So you can see from the Persian Gulf, it travels, move to the Gulf of Oman, and then it goes wherever the ship or the oil vessel is headed to. Okay, and this Strait of Hormuz, all right, is part of the Iranian territorial waters. About 80% of it. Iran controls about 80% of the strait. Okay, and if anything happens, this is one of the places Iran will want to attack, and they have already started seizing ship, especially US flagged vessels. Okay, unless maybe you can easily escape if you have shadow fleets, but that's still difficult in this kind of station. So this is one of the things they're going to do, and when they do this thing, it's going to cause volatility in the market. And if there is a war and they attack this region or this the Strait of Hormuz, we are going to have a global inflation. The world runs on oil. Okay, so this is one thing to expect. Crude oil prices is most like it's the number one instrument that's going to be affected the most, especially if supply is disrupted, either in terms of its transport, moving oil, or maybe the US military is striking Iranian oil facilities, which I don't believe they are going to do, because they wouldn't want to cause unnecessary volatility in the energy markets. Most likely they're just going to strike their nuclear facilities, military bases, and the IRGC, intelligence buildings. That's what I feel they are going to attack. When you read a lot of news from geopolitical analysts, from my own findings, look at kind of listen to maybe war veterans, giving you kind of scenarios and instances. I don't think they have any business to do with their their oil facilities. So that is it for geopolitics. That is what is at the center, and that's what I'm actually focusing on now. So that is it. Do anybody have any question? Please, you can raise your hand or mute yourself and ask. Okay. Yeah, bring on your question. If maybe you want me to talk about any other instruments, just let me know. Hello, hello. Your questions, your questions. So your questions, please. If you have any question, please ask.
Hello.
Can I ask your question? Yeah, I'm with you. Good. Gabriel?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the lecture. It's fantastic. So,
Okay, thank you.
actually, I'm new here. This was another of attending with you guys. So, the
Yeah.
chart you showed us, which data. So, where they get that from? Because I am a student of economics. So,
Wonderful.
the
It's like we
combination
lost
of
you, Gabriel.
data with
Okay, continue. Yeah, I'm with you now.
the combination of data being inter being interpreted be interpreted to chart. So I really want to get more details about it, which is a fundamental stuff, the structure you talk about.
Yeah.
So I really want
Okay.
I want you to know more comprehensive about that, so that everybody will have the knowledge and where we can get such from. Maybe from a
Okay.
trading view or from anywhere. Where do we get those data from?
Okay, good. You can get these data from majorly trading economics or investing.com. Okay. And yeah, I'm very happy to understand that we have an economist as well in our midst. I'm an economist as well. So, and I
Clearly,
believe, good, yeah. So I believe you understand, if you understand macroeconomics very well, so this will be very clear with your understanding of macroeconomics. So if you go to trading economics, you get, I focus more on leading economic data because they are the factors that
okay.
predict price. Yes. Yeah. So I go to
Yes.
trading. Let me get trading economics. So you can go to trading economics. Um, so this is where I get most of the data. You can also use you can even also get it from our website. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
our economic calendar, the important data that actually matters. Exactly. So,
Okay.
or you can use the economics as well to get them. But trading economics contains almost every data you'll be needing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. So that is it. So then, you can now run the analysis on your Excel, which I believe you have a knowledge of data
Yeah.
analysis a bit. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
run the analysis on Excel and have your macro bias.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody has any other question? You have any question or any other question? Have I answered your question?
Yes. Yes. You are.
Okay, good. So any other question, please ask your questions, guys. You can also type on the chat box. I'm with you, and I'm going to take your questions. So let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's go. So we have a couple of minutes. We have about 6 minutes. So let's ask a question. If you have any questions at all, please feel free. Don't be shy. Ask your questions, okay? Regardless of what it is, even if it's not within what we discussed. All right. For the fact is under the scope of the financial markets, please. I'm going to answer. Okay.
Sorry, I still have some question to ask.
Okay. Good.
Whoa. Yeah, take care, flow. I know one person flow.
Okay, sorry. What I want to ask is our trading zone. I want to understand the what we work called trading zone, where where to the trading entry, taking profits, and stop loss. So
You know, they
the
do
our
what
my zone, I want to really more want to know much about my zone. So where I can execute my stuff.
Okay. This is going to be more of technical analysis. Okay, it's not necessarily. I don't think we can cover that. Within just this short time. Maybe we are going to kind of put up. But I would like to see more numbers. We would like to put up maybe kind of a class where we can have a little technical session, and then I can show that. But in terms of putting stop losses, kind of zones, everybody have the way they do theirs, but the way I do mine is following my technical strategy. For example, this card here now is a pair I was looking out for last week. So in this impulse here to me is a corrective structure here and then upside. So let's assume I took my sell after this candle right here. Where the ideal place to place my stop loss is above this high. Okay, and why this high? One, based on my system. Two, this is the last structural point, meaning if at all the market doesn't continue lower based on a higher probability chance of my analysis, what you need to understand about trading is it's not 100%, but when you have a good system and understanding of the market, trading is a probability game, but a higher probability chance. You need to understand that the difference between probability and guessing. Even the concept of probability is done in school, mathematics. So probability is a real concept. It's not guesswork. Okay. So understanding of probability, okay, I now know that there is 70% chance out of 100 that the market is going to push the downside. So I have that notion, also that information that there is 30% probability that I could be wrong. Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to place my stop loss above this high. Please, Uzube, can you mute yourself, please? Uzube, please mute yourself. Hello, Uzube, please mute yourself. You are distracting us, please. So, good. So that is it. So now where I'm going to place my stop loss is basically above this high, because this is the last structural point, meaning if anything happens, price taking away this high, this is where I consider myself wrong, because this is where the entire move started. All right, taking away structural low here. So anything that takes away this high, this is where I consider myself wrong. So it's ideal. I don't stop loss placement shouldn't be in terms of pips. You should consider that in terms of structure. If you now measure the pip and think is high and think is too much, then you can leave the trade. Because I see some people say maybe the stop loss is not more than 20 pips. Yeah, that can be a rule if maybe the structural point is more than the structural high or low, where you are meant to put your stop loss in more than 20 pips. But if you're actually measuring your stop loss just in terms of pips, without putting in consideration a structural low or high, that is actually very wrong, because the market you need to reference a point where if it goes, that is a support or a strong resistance, or maybe if it takes away that high, that means you know that at this point I'm completely wrong. There's no need chasing the market again. Okay, so that that's what I think. That's my opinion. How I see the market. But maybe in subsequent classes we can discuss on technical. I think I can talk more on my technical system, which I believe everybody is going to enjoy. So I think I will put that in my future schedule or future planning. Can do that, okay? Or maybe even if we don't do that, I can record the video that which we are going to upload. If that is not possible, I will try and record the video which we are going to upload on YouTube. I think maybe I will do that. So in case you have you can message your relationship manager, your account manager. You can message them if you want, if you maybe any topic you would like us to talk about. So I think that would be the best thing. If we can't discuss it live, I can record the video which we are going to upload on YouTube. Then You can go on YouTube and watch it. And if you have any question, you ask to the comment section, and we're also going to be replying those comments. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, any other question? Any other question? Okay. In the absence of no question, we are going to call it a day. So, tread carefully, and before we go, I'm going to be giving you guys, some kind of, golden rules you are going to follow in trading. Regardless of your expertise in trading, things you should do, to keep your risk management and trading psychology in check. When we talk about trading psychology, a lot of people think it's something you actually read on books. No. What I can tell you confidently, trading psychology, reading books can actually help, but it can't correct any issue you have with trading psychology. What actually removes fear from the market is knowledge and education. Knowledge, real knowledge of the market and education of the market, erases fear in the market. Because when you lose, you know why you lose. When you win, you know why you win. Real reason, I don't mean because of technicals or whatever. You understand the reason. Even if price changes, you know that maybe it's because of a geopolitical story, or maybe some kind of rebalancing in portfolios from institutions, or maybe something that's happening in the bond market or anything. You actually know the reason why you lost money, or why you are winning. So education, knowledge in the market removes any sort of fear in the market. Okay, it removes any sort of fear in the market. So it's very, very important. So with that being said, some of these rules I'm going to mention. One, always trade with a stop loss. A lot of people will say they don't trade with a stop loss. All right, and then they are going to lose. Before you see, they lose money, and then they begin to blame their broker. You should trade with stop loss. Okay, you should. It's just like a trader not trading with stop loss is just like an electrician going to a naked wire without that protective gloves. What do you expect? It will take you out immediately. So that's why stop loss is there. Stop loss is basically, the most important protective measure in the financial market, or for you as a financial trader. So the use of stop loss is very, very important. All right, it's very, very crucial. So you protect yourself, you minimize your risk, you don't go and blow your accounts. Okay, that is one, because I've seen cases of a lot of traders saying that when you ask them, you see they don't use stop loss. They tell you they are using mental stop loss. When there's volatility in the market, it takes you out. You're looking for who to blame. And this is something that is very common with amateur traders. When they lose, they look for who to blame instead of to blame themselves. All right, because that's one thing that's going to help you in the financial market, taking full responsibility. All right, when we say responsibility, we mean ability to respond to situation. So you take full responsibility. That is the number one thing that's going to help you, to grow in the financial market. Take responsibility of everything. So that's why I'm mentioning now. As a trader, always use stop loss. So you don't blame the market, you don't blame the banks and institutions, you don't blame your broker. Use stop loss. Okay, that is one. Two is you have to respect your stop loss. Your stop loss should only be moved in the direction of your position, meaning break even. Meaning if you are buying and price is going up, you can only move your stop loss to lock in some profits. Not if, let's say, you are buying and price is pushing down, you keep on pushing your stop loss down, saying very soon it's going to reverse. You are not in control of the market. You have to obey. That's why when you ask the question of where to play, that's why I'm talking about these things now. So you have to respect your stop loss. All right, your stop loss should only be moved, if at all it's going to be moved, only in the direction of your trade. Okay, that is two. So three is over leverage. All right, we have a whole lot of tools if you go to our website, you will see, I think we have calculator there. So you can actually use calculators before you enter positions. It's very important. These things are free. And these things are very important information that, look at a position size. These are very important information that, many traders, they are very basic. But sometimes many traders are losing money and they are blaming the market or blaming something else, not actually knowing that they are the cause of their own failure. Okay, so use position size before you come into the market. All right, you put in amount, you select the currency, everything convert, and the calculator gives you the lot size you are meant to use in terms of trading. Okay, you can use the one from Godo Capital Market. Yeah, we have my FS book. You can go there, use the position size calculator. Yeah, it's a whole lot. Okay, this is one. So understanding the required lot size you are meant to use based on the stop loss, the instrument you are using, and based on your account. So you don't over leverage, so you don't blow up and then begin to look for who to blame. Nobody's actually clicking the buy or sell button for you. Everything is done by you. Your name, once you have funded your account, okay, everything is done by you. No, nobody does. So if you lose money, it means it's your own fault. So that's why you need to be very careful and understand these principles if you actually want to be, a successful, forex trader, all right, in the financial market. So I've said the issue of over leveraging. Now, the next one I want to talk about is never ever add to a losing position. That is another one. And why I'm saying these things are, these are habits that I've researched. I've seen that it's very common with traders. And this is some of the things when they do, they fail to understand that it is their own fault and look for who to blame. Like I said, they blame the market, they blame manipulation, they blame big banks, they blame the broker. But these are mistakes that traders are doing without even understanding they are the ones, they are the masters of their own misfortune. So you should never add to a losing position, saying it's going to reverse, let me add more. If you're adding more, that means you're blowing up. Okay, so you can only add to a winning position, meaning you are now leveraging on the profits and not on your capital. So adding to a losing position, what you are doing is you are increasing the risk, giving yourself pressure, increasing that fear in you. Okay, so you shouldn't be adding a losing position. You can only add to a winning position. Okay, so the last one is do not just jump in. Understand your system. After your analysis, you have done your position sizing, understand the real the lot size you are going to use, adequate for that pair, that position, that trade, then you risk your money. All right, putting in what you can afford to lose, and that is just it. Okay, so when you take note of all these things, you will see that you will hardly blow up in the market and you see yourself succeed. And with this is taking responsibility. As traders, we need to learn to take responsibility. All right, when you trust your system, you don't allow the next trader to influence your decision. Because not when another person influences your decision, because of maybe you are in one group or another trader who is sharing blues of where he made $1 million, come and tell you don't know whether it's real or fake, influences your decision. Just focus on whatever you are doing that that is actually working and this is actually the truth about the financial market. You focus on it. So you don't come to now look for whoever to now push the blame on. No. So that is taking full responsibility when it comes to the financial market. So I believe these few points here are very important. It's very crucial moving into the financial market. Vast knowledge, understanding all these things. We are going to be discussing a lot. It's important. Like I said, when we come here, we should focus. No noise. If you are distracted, you are missing on a lot. I can bet you that you can move around the country and with the kind of free information you are getting here, you won't get it anywhere for free. Sometimes traders will look for that particular information that that's going to change our trading career or whatever. Most of them are not expensive. They are free. But we are not paying attention to them. And I will tell you something for free in the financial markets. Okay? When it comes to finance, there is a saying that says, what is good is not popular, and what is popular is not good. In most cases, I'm not saying it's 100%, but in most cases, what is good is not popular, and what is popular is not good. So when you have that kind of seeing this kind of information, you pay attention. You are going to one of the things you are going to go to grasp, learn, and understand. Even if you pay like some amount of money, you are not going to get it. Please, Benjamin, can you mute yourself, please? So
That was a craze. A stupid boy.
So
Idiot,
that is it. And
they chat me, they tell me nonsense.
I think we are going to call it a day now, okay? So I believe everybody has gotten a whole lot of information and
Why are you
knowledge.
telling me I'm lonely? Am I
So
your
you
wife?
can follow our Telegram channel. If you have not created your account, all right, one of our relationship managers is going to be sending you the link for you to create an account, and he's going to follow up, and you're going to fund and then through the financial market, we go to capital market, and we can activate a 100% deposit bonus for you. That is one of the things we are offering, in terms of to ginger traders, to make traders understand that we are here for them. So the 100% deposit bonus. So if you create your account and fund, the broker is going to reward you now with 100% deposit bonus. So that campaign is still running. So it's good you take advantage of it, and very soon it's going to be off. So it's good to take advantage of it now if you are serious about trading. Okay. So Mr. Luke said I should list the best for the week. Okay, I listed it. Let me go back. So you can, okay, not here. Let me go back to my watch list. So the best I have here on my watch list is NZD Chef, USD Chef, NZ. Okay, I'm saying the direction as well. NZD Chef, our analysis, we are looking at to the downside. USD Chef, we are looking at to the downside. CAD Chef, we are looking at to the downside. AUD NZD, we are looking at to the upside. AUD USD, we are anticipating an upside in our analysis. AUD CAD, upside in our analysis. NZD JPY, downside in our analysis, and USD JPY, downside in our analysis. So these are the pairs, they are 8 in number. NZD Chef, USD Chef, CAD Chef, AUD NZD, AUD USD, AUD CAD, NZD JPY, and USD JPY. Okay. Okay, that is it. Okay, so so that is it for today. So I'm wishing everybody a profitable trading week. So trade carefully. Like I said, trade with stop loss. Don't over risk. Don't over leverage. Understand your stop loss. Respect your stop loss. Never ever add to a losing position, and check your position size. That's over leveraging, and your stop loss should only be moved in the direction of your trade. So yeah, the recording is going to be posted on YouTube, but with what's happened in today's recording, I don't know if it's going to be clear and audible for you. That's why I'm saying when we come, everybody has to maintain quietness. Okay, this is for serious people. If you know you are not serious about it, it's better you didn't show up than disturbing the peace of others. Okay, so but we'll try as much as possible to see how it can be edited out, and it will be posted. Okay, we'll see how it goes. But the recording is meant to be up on YouTube, so we'll try to see what we can do. Okay. So thank you very much, and see you next week. Okay, next week Saturday. So with time, as we are improving in our numbers, and we can be having midweek sessions. Okay, maybe Wednesdays aside from Saturday, we could be having midweek sessions, and at some point it could be even be every day. Okay, so bring on, if you have colleagues of yours who are interested in trading, get them close. Trading is a very lonely business, and you need to be with like-minded individuals if you really want to grow. So if you have your friends who are traders or who are interested in trading, bring them, let them join Go to Capital Market, let them join our webinar. All right, we can organize a lot of things, seminar, webinar, education, that is going to be beneficial for everybody. All right, with that, we can have multiple sessions. We can have a whole lot that's going to improve your career in tech. Okay, so thank you very much.